Three-way light switches for HomeKit up next. Welcome and thanks for watching. Before we get started, please do me a huge favor and hit that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed yet, and tap the bell to get notified when I release new content. And if you find the following video useful, please give it a thumbs up. So today we'll be taking a look at three-way switches for HomeKit. So what is a three-way application for light switches? Well, simply that is when two light switches controls one light fixture or one set of lights. In our case today, I'll be changing out the switches that control a couple of can lights in a short hallway in my home. And today's video is kind of circling back to the very first video I did for this channel, because I'll be taking a look at the often maligned yet pretty reliable a Leviton Decora Smart Dimmer switch with HomeKit. And these are actually my personal favorite smart home switches under HomeKit. I know a lot of people have had issues. I personally haven't had those same issues, and these have worked pretty reliable for me. But I know everyone's experience is different, and I know a lot of you out there are Lutron fans, and Lutron casetas are a great switch as well, but my personal favorite are the Levitons. And if pushed and someone said you can only pick one smart switch for your home under HomeKit, it would be these. And today we're going to be taking this switch and pairing it with the in-wall dimmer remote, also by Leviton, to control that three-way light switch for those lights in our home. So let's go ahead and unbox these and take a look. So here are the two switches we'll be installing today. And this is the Leviton Decora Smart Dimmer with HomeKit technology, and it has the all-important, works with Apple HomeKit badge. And the accompanying Leviton Decora Digital in-wall dimmer remote. So you will need this switch here if you want to install this in a three-way application. So let's go ahead and unbox this one. We've gone through this, but I'll go through it quickly, just in case you haven't seen the first video and you don't want to look that up. So very simply, this is a light switch, Leviton Decora Smart, and these are my preferred switch. And it comes with an almond switch plate that you can swap out if you don't want the white. I keep them the white. All the switches that I'm replacing in the home are white, so I just usually discard this, set it aside. And we get some literature. Underneath my thumb is the HomeKit code, which I'm covering so I don't have to do a lot of posts to get those out of the way. There's the switch. So here are the instructions for three-way wiring with the DD00R matching remote. So you want to take a look at these. I'm going to show you how to do them, but definitely check out the instructions. Now we'll take a look at the in-wall dimmer remote to pair with this for a three-way application. So there is the remote switch. Again, it comes with an almond cover plate or switch plate if you want. My light switches are white, so I'll be sticking with the default white switch. So these are the two switches you'll need. Let's go ahead and install them. So let's go ahead and take a look at the two light switches we'll be swapping out. And the first one is right here at the entrance of this short hallway. And this dimmer switch controls these two lights above. And we can control the brightness from here with the knob, the dimmer knob, and it controls these two lights. And there is another switch right around the corner, which is not a dimmer switch, and it just turns the lights on and off. So can't control the brightness from this switch, but I can from the switch down the hallway. With the switches that we will be swapping out, I'll be able to control the brightness from either this switch or this one here. So first things first, we have to turn off the power at the breaker box. And one thing I suggest everyone does, and I've already done this, is to map out your breaker box. And I know that those lights, with all the work I've done, are controlled by this switch right here. So if I turn this off, it'll turn off the power to those switches. So here's a quick rundown of the tools we're going to need to complete this installation. First, we'll need a screwdriver, a Phillips head, and a flathead, and I have a flathead bit in the handle here, and the Phillips head is attached to the screwdriver. We'll need a pair of wire strippers, a pair of pliers to clean up the wiring, a voltage tester so we can find the live line wire, some wire, and this is specific for the Leviton because they do not include a neutral wire to extend into the switch box, so we'll need that to attach it to the Leviton dimmer, and possibly some black electrical tape just in case. So the first thing we need to do is we need to determine which one of these switch boxes is what we'll call the line box. And the line box is the switch box that contains the live wire or the hot wire. So what we're going to do is we're going to take these switches out, remove all the wires. We're going to turn the power back on at the breaker box. Then we're going to test the wires and see which one has current. And the box that contains the wire that has current will be the line box. And we need to know the line box because in the line box goes the remote switch. So once we find that, then everything else falls into place. So we're going to start with taking out this switch first. And I typically like using manual screwdrivers, but if I'm taking something out, I don't mind cheating a little. So once we have this switch out, I'm going to take a look and see if there is a black screw. So this has a black screw, so this might be the line or the load. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and mark this wire where the black screw is attached with some black electrical tape. Oops. So now that that wire with the black screw is tagged, I'm going to go ahead and take all these wires out. And you know, this is one of those, it's kind of a pain. You have to press in there to remove the wires, so I'm going to just cut them. And the ground wire, or the green one, I can just unscrew. And there's the old switch. So here at the second switch, we're going to repeat that process. And here we are, and then again I'm going to note which wire is connected to the black screw here, and it's this one. And this is likely the liner load. One of these is either the one on the other switch box, or this one's going to be the line hot wire. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that again with some electrical tape. And this one is not as bad as the other one, so I'll go ahead and just unscrew these wires. And there's the old switch. To make it easier to test, I'm going to go ahead and straighten out some of these wires. Okay, let's go ahead and turn the power back on at the breaker box. So I just turned the power back on at the breaker box, and now we're going to go ahead and test the wire. It's showing there's no current. So this is probably the load box. This was the one by the door. So let's go ahead and check the other switch box now. So here we are at the first box where we uninstalled that first switch. Let's go ahead and test these wires. So there it is. That is the live wire or line wire. So we've confirmed that this box has the live wire. So this is, we'll call this the line box. So line wire, as confirmed by our tester, is the line box. So this one's the line box. So this box here will get the dimmer remote. And we will install that dimmer remote after I turn the breaker box off. Okay, here is the dimmer remote switch, and this is model DD00R. DD00R. So this is the remote switch. Before I get started, let me go ahead and check these wires, double check, make sure. And we're gonna go install this. For this one, this does need a neutral wire, so I've gone ahead and attached a neutral wire there. And if we dig way in the back, because it's not used with the older switch, there are neutral wires here, the white ones. So I'll be connecting the neutral wire there. So we're gonna start with, so this is the line wire, the line live wire. This one that I've tagged, and that has the current, the live one. Line wire, we're gonna call this other dark wire Traveler 1. And red, because it's easy to remember, this will be Traveler 2. That's what we're gonna call them. And this is the ground wire, so this is easy. The bare wire always goes on the green terminal, the ground terminal. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the line wire and Traveler 1 and connect them both to terminal. We're gonna connect both the line wire and that first Traveler wire to the BK, or the one with the black screw right there. So here we go, line wire. And the first Traveler wire on the same terminal, BK with the black screw. Now, the second wire we're going to attach is the red wire, the Traveler 2 wire. And we're going to attach that wire to the lower terminal here. And I probably can't get that to turn around, but it's labeled YLRD. So YLRD gets the Traveler 2 wire, which is this red one. And we're going to note that when we do the install on the dimmer switch on the opposite side. So Traveler 2 wire, or in this case, it's the red wire in the YLRD terminal on the remote switch. Now the other two are pretty simple. White wire, neutral wire, which this needs, to the white neutral wire in the box. I'll just go ahead and unscrew this one and go ahead and attach it, and then put the wire nut back on and yank it, confirm that it's on there and it's not loose, and that should hold. Then lastly, again, the easiest one is the ground wire, the bare copper. Now we just put the switch back into the box. Let's start with putting the neutral wires way back where they belong. And then we'll kind of gently push all the wires back in and install this switch. And I'm going to install the screws maybe about halfway, just in case we miss something. Okay, so again, this is the line box, and the line box with the live wire has the dimmer remote. So let's go ahead and wire up the dimmer, the smart dimmer, on the other switch. So here we are back at the second switch. So this is the load box. It doesn't have the live line wire. And in the load box, we're gonna go ahead and install the Decora Smart Dimmer with HomeKit. And I've gone ahead and attached the neutral wire here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this wire that I tagged, and this wire that's tagged is going to go here under the black screw again, and the terminal is marked BK. So BK with the black screw. This is where this is the load wire is going to be attached to. And that's the one that we marked. So that's why it's a good idea to mark these wires when you remove the old switches. So here we have, this one says use this terminal for 3-way applications only. And this terminal here is the YLRD. And if you remember, YLRD gets the red wire. Let's go ahead and attach that. Now the other black wire goes around here to the back, and we attach it to the terminal that has the RD, and it has the red screw. Then we have the green ground wire. We attach the ground wire. And finally, we dig out the neutral wires in the back and attach the neutral wire under this existing wire nut. Let me go ahead and tug on it, make sure it doesn't come off. That's pretty secure. All of the connections seem to be secure. I'm going to go ahead and tuck all the wires back in gently. And as with the first switch, we're going to install this kind of halfway, just in case we have to switch stuff around. But I think we got it. I think everything's wired up correctly, and we should be good to go. Let's go ahead and turn the power back on and keep our fingers crossed and hope everything works and is installed correctly. So power's back on at the breaker box, and green light is blinking, which means it's ready for setup, and that is always a good sign. I'm gonna do a quick check here. Lights turn on, lights slowly dim off. I'm gonna reach around the corner and see if the other switch controls it. Lights on, lights off. So everything is wired correctly. I'm gonna put everything back, put the wall plates back, and then we'll go ahead and set this up in HomeKit and see how everything works. So the switch fully installed, lights still blinking, we have the wall plate on. Let's go ahead and set up in HomeKit. So let's go ahead and open up the Home app and go to the upper right and hit the plus sign. And we're gonna add accessory. Then we're going to go ahead and use the HomeKit setup code. We're going to scan it. Now I have the piece of paper. There is a code attached to here, but since I got the wall plate, you can't see it. I'm going to go ahead and do that off camera. And here it is. It shows Leviton Dimmer 078. I'm going to go ahead and choose that. It says add accessory to network. I'm going to hit allow. And it says this was added. So we're going to include this in favorites. The room is actually going to be the hallway. I don't know if there is a hallway. So let's go ahead. Oh, there it is, hallway suggested. So we're going to pick hallway, and let's call this actually the hallway light. done. Including favorites, I already have that. Let me change the icon to the overhead light icon. Click done and hit next. Then we're going to go with, I'm going to include it in Illuminate. And Illuminate is a scene that I have that turns on all the lights in common areas. So none in the bedrooms, but every place there's a common light, it turns on all the lights. And for now, I think I'm gonna leave it there. I'll include it in another automation later. So let's go ahead and find it in HomeKit. And there it is, the hallway light. We can turn it on and off. Then we can dim it from HomeKit as well. So let's confirm that both switches function correctly. Light switch on, light switch off. You can see the lights turning on and off, on, off. And let's go ahead and check the dimmer. It's all the way up, and we can dim it down. See you can tell the lights, the ambient lights getting darker. So that works. Go ahead and turn it off. Let's check the switch on the other side. And here we go. Here's so this is the remote switch. Turn the lights on. See the lights come on. Turn the lights off. Let's go ahead and check that dimmer control. You can dim the lights by holding down the toggle switch on that side, or brighten them by holding it up, or you can do it, press it one by one, do it incrementally. So both seem to be functioning properly. And turn the lights off. So here we go. This should be a wider view. You got the light and the two can lights up top that it is controlling. Let's go ahead and ask Siri to turn off the lights because they're already on. Hey, turn off the hallway lights.
Okay, the hallway light is off.
Hey, turn on the hallway light.
Okay, the hallway light is on.
Set the hallway light to 20%.
Okay, I set the hallway light to 20%.
Set the hallway light to 100%.
Okay, I set the hallway light to 100%.
Turn off the hallway lights.
Okay, the hallway light is off.
And there you have it, the Leviton Decora Smart Dimmer with HomeKit and Siri control. Hey, so that's going to do it for our look at the Leviton Decora with dimmer, our second look actually, along with the paired dimmer remote from Leviton. So those two switches, as you saw, was a little more involved than wiring a single pole switch, but it's not too difficult. And once you have it all wired up, it'll work under HomeKit. Siri can control it, and you can set it with automations under the Home app. So say if you wanted the lights to come on when sun sets, you can have it do that and then turn off at sunrise if you wanted. One of the automations I'll be doing is I'll be pairing these two light switches that we just installed with a motion sensor. That hallway gets kind of dark at night, and sometimes when we arrive home, the house is dark and that hallway is dark. So what I want to do is when I pair those two switches with the motion sensor, as soon as we open that door, it's going to detect we're walking in, it'll light the hallway and lead a path for us to the rest of the house. So keep an eye out for that in a future video. We'll be taking a look at a motion sensor and how to set up an automation to light those two switches that we just installed today. Other than that, pretty simple install, pretty straightforward. The switch works great. I know a lot of Lutron fans out there might disagree with me, but there were issues on initial release of this switch. I won't deny that. Some people had issues. I really didn't have that issue, but with each subsequent firmware, the switches just got better. They got reliable for those who had issues. If you've tried them in the past and you like the design of them, like I do, I prefer the design of the Levitons over the Lutrons because the Levitons look more like they belong in a home. whereas the Lutrons look maybe a little more suited for like a commercial space. But then that's just all personal preference. I really like these light switches. They've worked well for me. So maybe take a second look at them if you've had problems in the past. One thing I will say that is still kind of a gripe is through the Leviton app, updating the firmware through that app can be a pain. The last time there was a firmware update for these switches, I had to go through there, find out the IP and do those updates manually. Now, I think they've since come out with an app update to better handle that. I'll wait for the next firmware update to see if that's the case, but that can be a huge pain. At least for me, that's the only really gripe I have is updating the firmware through the Leviton app. So I hope they've improved that experience. And again, with that, that'll wrap it up. Thanks for watching. I hope you found the information useful. And until next time, please take care and be safe out there.